So practice problem number 1. So we're going to distribute. So we're going to do a squared times a, and then a squared times 2. So a squared times a is a to the third. A squared times 2 is 2a squared. 3a times a is positive 3a squared. 3a times 2 is positive 6a. Negative 4 times a is negative 4a. And negative 4 times 2 is negative 8. Now what we need to do is combine like terms. These two are like terms, and these two are like terms. So what that means is a to the third is going to just come down. 2a squared plus 3a squared is positive 5a squared. 6a minus 4a is positive 2a minus 8. And that's my final answer. Okay, so now we're going to combine like terms. 5x to the third minus 2x to the third. Those are like terms, so I'm going to combine them. So 5 minus 2 is 3x to the third. 2x squared minus, well, there's nothing in that parenthesis, so I'm just going to leave 2x squared alone. Negative 3x minus negative 4x. So negative 3 minus negative 4 actually becomes positive x, because minus and negative becomes positive. And then 4 minus, well, there's no 4's in there, so I'm going to do that. And that's my final answer. Problem number 3. So when you do a problem like this negative 2, because it's on the outside of the parabola, on the outside of the parentheses, it's going to be distributed. So remember, if anything doesn't have an exponent, it's 1. So 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. So this becomes 3 to the negative second power. A is a 1. 1 times negative 2. So it becomes a to the negative 2 power. And then b to the negative fourth power. We're going to do the same thing for this one. So 1 times 2 is 2, so this becomes 2 to the second power. A to the second squared is a to the fourth. And we multiply because the exponents are attached to parentheses and not attached to a base. And now we're going to do 1 to the second. So it's b to the second power. Now normally I would have you square everything and do all the numbers, but I want to wait. And the reason I want to wait is because that 3 to the negative 2, because if you square that, it's going to look like a positive 9, and it's not. It is a 9, but it's not it's a fraction. It's not a whole number. So this is what I want to do. So I just want to leave the 3 and the 2 for right now. So I'm going to have 3 to the negative 2 power times 2 to the second power. But I'm going to add the exponents on the a's because now I'm multiplying and I have bases that are the same. So negative 2 plus 4 is 2. B, negative 4 plus 2 is negative 2. Now we're going to take care of all of those exponents that are negative. So negative 3 to the negative halves goes into the denominator. 2 to the second power stays in the numerator. And how I know this is because anytime you have a negative exponent, your answer is going to end up being a fraction. And that's because you have a negative exponent. So a to the second is positive, so that stays in the numerator. b to the negative 2, it's a negative exponent, so it goes into the denominator. And notice, once it goes into the denominator, it becomes positive. And now we can take care of those numbers. 2 squared is 4a squared. 3 squared is 9b squared. And that is your final answer. Okay, so this is the last problem. But I want to show you, this is the problem I gave you. I want to show you what the problem actually looks like. Because I realized when I was making the video, I don't know if I made it clear. So this is the problem I actually gave you, but this is what the problem looks like. Okay? Do you see that the exponents go 5? So z to the 5th, z to the 4th, and then z. And see how it's missing z to the 3rd and z squared? So when it's missing exponents, you guys, you don't have to write this down because we're about to do it. When it's missing exponents, that's how you have to write it. So this is what the problem should have looked like, but I thought it would be easier to show you. Here's the problem, because I didn't want you guys to do it incorrectly and then be like, oh, and then have to erase it all. So again, you guys, see how I went 5, 4, but there's no z to the 3rd or z to the 2nd. So what I did is I did placeholders. And you guys, 0, z to the 3rd, it actually makes it disappear, okay? So when you do long division, the only thing you care about is what multiplied by z gives you this first number. Nothing else, just this first number. So what can I multiply by z to get 3z to the 5th? So let's start with the easiest one. What's the first one? We're going to put 3. We know we're going to need a z. There's 5 here. I have 1 here, so I need 3z to the 4th. Notice I needed 1 less than I had, right? So 3z to the 4th times z is 3z to the 5th. And then you have to multiply it again. 3z to the 4th times 2 is positive 6z to the 4th. And we're going to subtract. Just like we would if it was regular division that we learned in elementary school. 3z minus 3z to the 5th, it disappears. 5 minus 6z to the 4th is negative 1z to the 4th. And then we're going to bring this down. Whoops. So, we're going to bring that down. Now, again, what can I multiply z by to get negative 1z to the 4th? That's all I care about. I don't care about anything else right now. What can I multiply this by to get this? Negative 1. So negative z. I have 1. I need 4. So what's this going to be? 3. Yep, you're going to go down 1 in the exponents. So negative z to the 3rd times z is negative 1z to the 4th. Negative z to the 3rd times 2 is negative 2z to the 3rd. And again, we're going to subtract. You guys, you're going to subtract so you get rid of that first one. Negative 1z to the 4th minus negative 1z to the 4th is 0. 0 minus negative 2z to the 3rd is 2z to the 3rd. It becomes positive. And then I'm going to bring this down. It's positive, so plus 0z squared. And again, what can I multiply z by to get 2z to the 3rd? Well, it's positive 2, so I know I'm going to need a positive 2. I have 3 z's. There's 1 z, so how many more z's do I need? Yep, z squared. Notice the exponents are going down. 4, 3, 2. 2z squared times z is 2z to the third. 2z squared times 2 is positive 4z squared. And now we're going to subtract. You guys, 2 minus 2 is 0, so that's good. 0 minus 4 is negative 4z squared. I'm going to bring down the z. Okay. What times z will give me negative 4z? Negative 4z. Because negative 4 times z gives me that negative 4. Z times z gives me that z squared. And then I have to, again, you guys, I have to multiply. Negative 4z times 2 is negative 8z, and we subtract. Negative 4 minus negative 4 is 0. That goes away. That's what it needs to happen. 1z minus negative 8z becomes 9z. And then I'm going to bring down my 5. What times z gives you 9? 9z. I shouldn't say that. What times z gives you 9z? Positive 9. So it becomes 9z minus 18. You get negative 13. Well, there's nothing left to bring down. You can't make a z into a negative 13. So you're going, and it's minus, so you're going to put minus 13 over, that's 13, over the z plus 2. Oh, I'm sorry. This should have been positive 18. That's my fault. It should have been 9 times 2 is 18. That should have been positive 18. So that's my fault. So it should be 5 minus 18 is negative 13. That's how I got the 13. Thank you. How'd you guys do?